all over the country and the world, people are fighting, and in many cases, having sodium fluoride removed from their water. The globalists are panicking. They are panicking because they know you're waking up. And they are coming in and they are saying, you aren't going to have a water well. You aren't going to have a garden in your backyard. You aren't going to can for yourself. And if you do, we're going to throw you in prison. Now, if that isn't the ultimate tyranny, I don't know what is. Let's go back 80 years ago, 80 plus years ago. Within a decade of Lenin, Vladimir Lenin getting into power, if you've studied the Soviet Union, right through to the days of Alexander Solzhenitsyn in the 50s and 60s fighting in the labor camps, the first thing they did was say, you have to get a license now to have your farm. Then they would deny the license. Within 10 years, they had trained the farmers that it was illegal to grow any food on their own. It could only be done through collectives. And millions of peasants, not just in Russia, but in Ukraine, more than 10 million in Ukraine, starved to death because they weren't allowed to grow food. They had to go to government communal areas and grow it, so the government controlled everything they were doing. Now, by the 1940s, so many millions of people had starved to death, and the Germans were invading, and they needed to get food produced, so they said, okay, farmers are allowed 1 acre of land that they originally owned, peasant farmers, under government supervision, and they've got to give half of it to the government, to the NKVD-controlled people. But you're allowed now to grow your own food. This is total, complete Vladimir Joseph Stalin tyranny. Vladimir Lenin, Joe Stalin tyranny. 100%. And, of course, what did they do in the Soviet Union? They said they were doing this for food safety, and they'd run news articles about somebody who'd gotten sick from some food. They didn't do it for food safety. Just like they claim, oh, our gas taxes are down. Not true. Gas receipts are actually up. Just search that term. More cars, more people on the road. They lie about that, but they say we need satellite tracker boxes in all your cars, taxing you by the mile to go on top of the gas tax. They could easily just raise the gas tax if they really needed it. But they want to track everything you do. So they come out and roll it out in the name of raising money. Ladies and gentlemen, look at these articles. Here's one out of Town Hall where the Obama administration is publicly sending out letters to insurance companies saying, quote, this is Town Hall. Michael Barone, gangster government stifles criticism of Obamacare. That's Town Hall with an Infowars.com type headline. What did NBC say on Friday? Police state in Philly. In fact, will you reprint that for me? Police state in Philly. And it said the police are running checkpoints, searching people at the bus terminals, the trains, the roads. And there's the quote, we can search and do whatever we want. There is no Fourth Amendment. The local police say they're now under Homeland Security and can do whatever they want. And the headline is, Police State Philly. And the headline here, gangster government stifles criticism of Obamacare. They're sending letters out to insurance companies saying, quote, there will be zero tolerance for this type of misinformation and unjustified rate increases. The insurance companies wrote this legislation, the big ones. It does raise the prices. The premiums are going up on an average of 25%. And so Obama's people come out and pose like they're getting tough on the insurance companies, saying there'll be zero tolerance. Remember that Bloomberg headline 6 months ago? Pension funds being invested in failed banks. And then the article quoted federal regulators saying they were ordering private pension fund managers as well as public private pension fund managers, police, you name it, unions, teachers' unions, to invest in failed banks. There's no law. They just order it. They just order it. We're going to come back and get into this and a lot more, but this is just naked oppression out in the open. We'll be right back.
We all know that Berkey water purification systems are the most trusted name in water filtration. As an authorized Berkey dealer for over 5 years and serving thousands of satisfied customers, the Berkey Guy offers amazing specials for Berkey water filtration systems. The Berkey Light systems include a set of self-sterilizing and recleanable black purification elements that purify water by removing chlorine, pathogenic bacteria, cysts, and parasites to non-detectable levels and remove harmful chemicals such as herbicides and pesticides. Order the Berkey Light system today, complete with 2 black Berkey elements for only $209, and the Berkey Guy will include 3 sport Berkey water bottles and ship everything to you free of charge. That's right, 3 sport Berkey water bottles and free shipping. An $87 value, yours free. Call the Berkey Guy at 1-877-886-3653. That's 1-877-886-3653. Or order online at GoBerkey.com. That's GoBerkey.com today.
The economy is crumbling, debt soaring, and the possibility of World War III is increasing. I started SurvivalistSeeds.com from my dining room table with a small bucket of seed and a single rotating banner ad on PrisonPlanet.com. 2 years later, we've sold over 40,000 pounds of heirloom seeds, becoming the largest bulk seed seller to the public. The majority of our customers are Alex Jones listeners. Now I'm offering 50 all-organic garden varieties, 10,000 heirloom seeds, a garden planner, and a CD teaching you how to save seeds so your children's children will always have healthy food. Don't wait until it's too late. I'm Big John Lipscomb, and my company is SurvivalistSeeds.com.
Have you ever felt like the United States government knows way too much about your financial affairs? I continue to hear stories about property seizures, frozen bank accounts, confiscation of stocks and bonds. It makes me wonder if the U.S. citizen will ever again have the right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Unfortunately, with the Drug and Money Laundering Act, the IRS Revenue Ruling 6045 of 1984, and the Trading with the Enemy Act and Franklin D. Roosevelt's Executive Order of 1933, some precious metal holdings are subject to government intervention. For this reason, Midas Resources has prepared a report explaining the boundaries of trading precious metals privately. Whether if you have any intention of trading with Midas Resources or not, I have instructed my representatives to give this report out free. Call for your free copy at 1-800-686-2237. When investing, always proceed with caution. Again, call 1-800-686-2237. Exercise your legal right to trade metals privately. 1-800-686-2237.
You worry, but only because you're paying attention. What's happening in the Gulf of Mexico illustrates an audacity toward nature. A similar audacity called GMO, or genetically modified organisms, means that the quality of commercially grown food may be compromised with our health in the balance. Now that summer's here, what better time to learn about the bounty that nature provides in wild edible food? Let author Linda Runyon show you the best-kept secret in plain sight, that food is everywhere you look. This summer, for the cost of a good meal or two out, you can literally starvation-proof yourself and your loved ones against any future craziness, and put up tons of free food, too. Whatever experiment is being run on us, you can rest assured that Linda's 50 or so staple foods aren't involved. Our foods are their enemy. So go to ofthefield.com or call toll-free 1-888-51-EAT-FREE and take that first step. Make your oasis of food security and nutrition now. That's OFTHEFIELD.com or call 1-888-513-2837. Start now and make 2010 your year of independence.
All right, continuing with the information documenting that we're being bathed in tyranny, being conditioned to accept it. Gangster government stifles criticism of Obamacare, and they're ordering the insurance companies to not criticize Obamacare because it's not one monolithic group. It was the big top ones owned by banks that actually wrote the legislation, but the smaller and medium size are against it. And they're saying, look, we're going to have to raise prices. And then the article goes on to admit that even Time Magazine's Karen Pickett points out that Sebelius ignores the fact that individual insurance plans cover different types of populations. so that government and some industry and academic experts think that the new law will justify increases. But it doesn't matter. The Obama crowd is telling them there will be zero tolerance for this. And here's that Bloomberg headline dealing with the, quote, where the federal government with no law just ordered the private pension fund managers to, quote, invest in failed banks. We'll put that up on screen. Failed banks may get pension fund backing as FDIC seeks cash. That's from March 8th of this year. But then when you read the article, it admits they're already being ordered to invest $2 trillion in pension funds with them. Ordered under what law? We've got to just start saying no to these crooks. And here's another example. Random pat-downs turned Patco into police state. NBC News, commuters' clothing, pockets, bags, and vehicles to be randomly searched. And Homeland Security says they're going to expand it to shopping malls and the side of the road. And they've got federal grants for police to take blood without warrants or DNA all over the country. They're just training us to accept all of this. Now, let's look at England. Barack Obama, this teenager in England, sent an email calling Barack Obama a punk. And for calling him a punk, he has been banned for life. And the FBI is quoted as saying that they are furious and that this is unacceptable to talk bad about our president. So the FBI is now in the business. But this is a global model. In England, if you've done mild things that shouldn't even be illegal, or ever made statements that they call hurtful or xenophobic, not even racist, you are arrested but then banned from leaving England. Remember hooligans who'd ever gotten in a fight or caused a disruption at a soccer game, and now they throw you out for nothing. You're put in a database, and then you're not allowed to, quote, leave the country during the World Cup or other international soccer events. It's creating the precedent of databases to not be able to travel. And then Michael Savage, he can't go to England. He got taken off the list because of protest, and now the new prime minister, the conservative who supports global carbon taxes like Glenn Beck does and like Newt Gingrich does, but that's okay. You know, they're so conservative, they're pro-New World Order, that he said, you are a punk, and so he's banned from life to traveling to the U.S. The message is, you're not allowed to travel, you're not allowed to leave. They're making it harder and harder for Americans to leave, harder and harder for Brits to leave, but easier for third world people to come in who are then made your police, your CPS workers. We've had members of parliament on from England to talk about that, how they're building armies of foreigners to rule us. So there's the article. Here's another one out of the Star out of England. Ringtone race row, that means fight. Ringtone race fight lands fan in a jail cell. And it was a clip from a popular TV show where the person says, I'm a Paki, so what? So it's a movie. And it's like, why do you call a German person a Kraut? Because they like sauerkraut. Why do you call an Irish person a Mick? Because a lot of them have Mick at the start of their name. Or a Scottish person, excuse me. I'm part Scot, Irish, you name it. Am I supposed to be offended by that? They're just taking normal words and then saying they're racist. Remember Robin Page, BBC host of One Man and His Dog, one of the top shows for over a decade in England? We had him on a few years ago. He was arrested for saying the word homosexual. He said rural communities deserve the same rights as Muslims and homosexuals. And they said that word is hurtful. It's a scientific word, heterosexual, homosexual. You get arrested for saying Negro. Will you be arrested for saying Anglo? They know the public's dumbed down, and so they're training them. You'll be arrested if you use basic words like this. And people have been arrested in the U.S. for using racial terms. People have been arrested here. And the media with the mosque and with the Koran burning is trying to sell the idea of restricting free speech. Ringtone race row lands fan in jail cell. Movie fan Martin Smith landed in court on a racism charge after he downloaded part of a soundtrack for the 1980s comedy Rita, Sue and Bob 2, and installed it as a ringtone on his mobile. Martin of Holly Homewood. I'm going to come back and finish up on this. But you can't have a garden. You can't have a ringtone of a movie. You can't call Obama a punk.